Good morning, kids. How are you all? I hope all of you are doing well and you have spent a wonderful time. Is not it? Okay, we have enjoyed a lot during the summer holidays. Today I am going to teach you the subject value education. Before starting the subject, we have to know about this subject. What is value education? This subject is all about the moral values. The value education is the process by which people give moral values to each other. Okay, so by learning this subject, we can understand to how to give the values towards the others. Okay, in this subject value education, you have 15 chapters. Okay, first chapter is Akbar and Birbal. Second chapter is Someone is Watching. Third chapter is Letter to God. Fourth chapter is Habits Die Hard. Fifth chapter is Honest Mohan. Sixth one, Equality. Seventh chapter is The Wounded Swan. Eighth chapter is The Story of Abu Ben Adam. Ninth chapter is The Three Friends. 10th chapter is The Wolf and the Crane. 11th one is Kitty and Witty. 12th one is The People and the Neem Tree. 13th one is Being Different. 14th one is The Company We Keep. 15th one is Ch-1 Kumar. Okay, today I am going to start the first chapter. First chapter is Akbar and Birbal. Okay, this is the story about Akbar and Birbal. So before starting the story, we should know a little bit about the Akbar. Who is Akbar? Who was the Akbar? Akbar was the Mughal emperor. Okay, he was the son of Mughal emperor Humayun. He was the grandson of Babur. Okay, he was a great emperor. During the Mughal dynasty, and Birbal was his advisor. Birbal was the very wise person. Whenever Akbar gets some confusion, he used to ask questions to the Birbal. Birbal gives some solution for his confusions. Okay, so let us start the story. I am sharing some pictures of Akbar and Birbal. You please look into those pictures. Okay. Now let us start the story Akbar and Birbal. All of you please take out your value education textbook, page number 5, chapter 1, Akbar and Birbal. Okay, the moral of this story is God is one. The value taught is God is one. The main theme of this story is God is one. We are having so many friends from different religions, is not it? We know that all the gods are only one. God is one, but we are worshipping him by different ways, by different rituals, by doing some different cultures, different rituals. We are worshipping him, but the main thing is God is only one. This is the main theme of this story. Okay, let us start the story. All of you please look into the textbook. Birbal was a wise court jester in the court of King Akbar. One day, both Akbar and Birbal were sitting and talking about God. Who was Birbal? Birbal was the advisor of Akbar. Who was Akbar? Akbar was the Mughal emperor. He was the son of Humayun. Who was Humayun? Humayun was a great emperor of Mughal dynasty and he was the son of Mughal Emperor Babur. Okay, so Akbar was the grandson of Babur. Okay, Birbal was a wise court jester. Birbal was very wise person. Okay, Birbal was a wise court jester in the court of King Akbar. He was the wise court jester in the court of Akbar. Akbar was the king. One day, both Akbar and Birbal were sitting and talking about God. One day, what they are doing? They were talking about God. Akbar asked Birbal, how can God have many names and yet be one? Akbar asked Birbal, how can God have many names? God have many names. Hindus worshipping by Bhagwan. Hindus named the Almighty God as Bhagwan, and Christians named him as Jesus Christ. Is not it? So like this, God is having different names. So Akbar asked Birbal, how can God have many names and yet be one? Birbal answered, your Majesty, God is one. He is called by different names. Hindus called him Bhagwan, Muslims Allah, Sikhs Sadguru, and Christians Jesus Christ. Akbar said, I am still confused. After clarifying by the Birbal, Akbar was not cleared about his confusion. He was still confused. Okay. Birbal said, your Majesty, let me explain it to you once more. Birbal saw a servant who was wearing a turban. Birbal saw a servant within the palace who was wearing a turban. Okay. He called the servant and said, remove the turban and wear it around your waist. What he said? He said, remove your turban and wear it around your waist. The servant did as was told. The servant did as Birbal told him to do. He was done that. Birbal said, your Majesty, we will not call this piece of cloth a turban now. See how he explained. He was a very wise person. He explained him very nicely. Now we cannot say that the cloth is, we cannot call the cloth is a turban. Is not it? Your Majesty, we will not call this piece of cloth a turban now, because now this is only a piece of cloth. Okay. It is now a belt. It is now a belt because we have that servant wear that cloth around his waist, so we can say that cloth as belt. Birbal asked the servant to open the cloth and to tie it at the waist. Birbal asked the servant to open the cloth and tie it at the waist. The servant did as was told. The servant did as Birbal told. Birbal said, my lord, it is now called a dhoti. It is now called a dhoti. See, he was very wise person. So nicely he is explaining that a piece of cloth is having different names. is not it? Finally, Birbal asked the servant to tie the cloth on his head. The servant did so. Birbal said, "My lord, it is turban again." Now, it is turban again. Birbal thanked the servant and asked him to go. He then turned to Akbar and said, "My lord, you saw yourself how the same piece of cloth was given different names depending upon the part where it was worn. Similarly, people address God by different names." Then he took Akbar near a window and said, "Water that evaporates cools down on reaching high and is called as cloud." We know that water evaporates, and after evaporation we call it as cloud. When it comes down, it is called as rain. Is that it? When it comes down, it is called as rain. When it flows, it is called a river. When it starts flowing, it called as river. Similarly, God is called by different names by different people, even though God is one. Akbar was happy and convinced. He said to Birbal, "Thank you. Now it is very clear to me." Now Akbar was very clear that with the theme that God is one. Birbal was explained him very nicely that God is one. We are worshipping him by different ways, but God is one. So this is the story. The main theme of this story is God is one, and the moral of this story is God is one but is called by different names. Okay, so the story is finished. I think you have understood, and still if you are having any doubt, you can call me and you can text me in the comment section that you are not understanding, you are having doubts. You can clarify your doubt by asking the questions, okay? And questions answers I will provide you in the next class. Till then, bye bye, have a good day.